I'm 25 male and my girlfriend is 24. We were together for 3 years and marriage was in the future. My ex always loved true crime, but she was really getting into it. I want to say she'd been down her rabbit hole for about 4 to 6 months before she really started acting weird with me. She didn't want me to have her location, which we mutually had for safety purposes. She was telling her mom, sister and friends everything I did. She was being skittish around me, kept a diary when she never had one before, and would just be overly cautious around me. I don't know how to describe it. You could just see she was being weird. Even at gatherings, my family asked me if we were fighting because she seemed overly cautious around me and only stuck with the women. It was really starting to get to me, but I didn't want her suspicions to be right, so I didn't do anything about it. She told me that as a man I have to understand. Domestic violence happens all the time. Even perfect men suddenly end up toxic, and I was no different. It really got to me. All I could think then and even now is that I'm nothing like those men. I get that it could be anyone, but seriously? I don't even kill bugs. I take them outside. She had never been in an abusive relationship either. This behaviour was so unlike her, but I felt I could do nothing because of her position. If I reacted badly, she would be right, and I know I'm not toxic, so I just took it. We'd been together for 3 entire years, and she really thought that I would suddenly hurt her. I've never raised my voice at her, and I came from a broken home with domestic violence. She knows about that. I would never treat a woman or child, man or animal that way. A few days ago she put up cameras, which I noticed quickly because she didn't hide them well. When I confronted her, she told me it was for her safety and peace of mind, and that I didn't care about her safety if I wanted them gone. I got damn angry, but I got this moment of clarity all of a sudden. All the anger left my body as quickly as it came, and I understood. All those months hit me like a train, and I was over it all. I didn't yell or react, I just said that we were over. I told her that I couldn't be with someone who thought of me as a criminal. I didn't take anything, I just left to stay at my parents' house. She's been telling her family that I'm a toxic idiot, and I've gotten a few semi-threatening calls and texts from her brothers. I'm really torn up about it, and I feel like a real idiot now. Her texts range from, "I'm sorry, I know you're not an abuser," to how I never cared about her and that she was right about me all along. Why did she convince herself that I would mistreat her? I had never ever laid my hands on her, nor have I ever yelled at her. If something was wrong, we handled it like adults, not dysfunctional teens. I miss her a lot and I'm starting to regret it all. I should have just let her put the cameras up. That probably isn't the self-respecting choice, but I really love my girlfriend, and I understood to an extent. Am I the idiot for breaking up with my girlfriend after she set up cameras in our apartment? Not the idiot. So she basically lied to everyone about you being a toxic idiot in front of every camera she set up in case you turned out to be one. This person is unhinged. I'm a woman who enjoys true crime. This is so weird. You have a right to privacy. If she doesn't trust you, you need to move on. 3 years into a relationship, her behavior smells of an undiagnosed mental illness, but that's not your problem here. Stay away. Stay far away. And keep copies of all communication. He's lucky he got out when he did. This was all about her fantasizing being a victim and setting him up to become one. Even now she's told others that he's toxic while telling him secretly that he isn't one. She's in it for the attention and is in desperate need of therapy. OP should not be alone with her. Talk to her by text because she's going to turn this around on him and paint him as the abuser now that he's walking out the door. 100% this. 6 more months and he could be walking away with a criminal record after she bruises herself and files a police report. Wannabe victims will find ways to be victims. By the way, when you go get your stuff, which you need to, take someone with you or a deputy. That way you'll have a witness. Protect yourself. This woman clearly needs help. Who knows what she'll make up next? I got married a couple of weeks ago and returned from my honeymoon this weekend. For the most part, everything went well. We had about 150 people there, including everyone we actually wanted to attend. The one kind of hiccup was the bartender situation. Our parents are lower class, and although they pitched in what they could together, it was about 10% of the total wedding budget. We're very grateful for the help we got, but we paid for almost all of it. For the bartenders, we have a venue that allowed us to rent and provide our own booze, wine and beer. We used a service a co-worker recommended where we were able to hire 2 bartenders for $30 an hour. We also told them that we would tip them at the end of the night, so there was no need to have a tip jar. I've never been a fan of those at weddings. My wife and I were so busy that other than the champagne toast, we didn't really drink at the wedding or have a chance to go up to the bar during the event. But at the end, as it was closing, I went to thank the bartenders for the job well done and was going to give them each $150 in cash. That was until I saw that, contrary to our wishes, they had a sign posted with a QR code for their Venmo and PayPal so our guests could tip. This really irked me, as I specifically told them we would tip so our guests wouldn't have to. One bartender even pointed out that they agreed not to have a tip jar, but this was different. I didn't want to cause a scene, and what was done, so I just let it go, but I didn't give them the tip I'd planned. Today, I'm at work, and the co-worker who recommended the company asked me if something went wrong, because the owner, who he knows, said there was some drama and we didn't tip. I told him why we didn't tip, and he said while he gets the annoyance, we still should have, since there's no way to know how much our guests tipped. It was a long night and they were very busy. My co-workers all seem split on this. I have the company's contact information, so I could easily reach out to add a tip if it turns out I'm wrong. But to be honest, I don't think I am. Edit, this is in the Midwestern US if that matters. When speaking with the owner about rates, I told him I would be planning on a cash tip at the end of the night, so a condition of going with them was no soliciting tips or tip jars. He told me that was fine. I told the bartenders when they got there as well, and they said they'd heard that from the boss already and were all good. I didn't specifically say no tipping signs with QR codes, but I never thought that wouldn't be understood. You don't owe them a dime. I'm furious for you. It's one or the other. Get a tip from the host at the end of the night or solicit tips from guests. Full disclosure, I'm very much anti-tip jars at weddings, and I say this as a former bartender. Guests shouldn't have to pay for anything at a wedding. This includes tips. However, some couples are okay with their guests paying for things at the wedding and/or letting the bartenders have a tip jar. Okay, fine. But you explicitly told the bartenders not to have a tip jar out. That includes Venmo. It wasn't a miscommunication, it was a sneaky little miscalculation on their part and their little game of semantics, but it's not a jar, just cost them $150 each. Livid. Just livid. Something similar happened at my wedding by a bartender I knew personally, and I'm not ashamed to say that she did not receive the $300 I initially planned to give her. You're right. This is the tackiest thing I ever heard. Tipping culture is getting out of control. Do not tip them. Just assume they made enough tips already. They didn't comply with your wishes, and you shouldn't even be worried about what your friend is saying. People should learn how to be professional. So my sister is a personal chef for some upper-middle-class families, mostly lawyers and doctors who work 24/7 but still want home-cooked healthy meals. My husband always complained about my disgusting food and he called me worthless in the kitchen. Whenever we were invited to my sister's or mom's, he would bite my head off about how they were better. I know that I'm as good if not better because I was taught by the same chef, Mum, who's a literal genius. I had it up to here and said, fine, we can pay my sister for dinners, so for a year now he's been paying me $750 to pay my sister. When he comes home, he starts raving about how the whole apartment smells amazing from the delivered food, and that only now does he look forward to coming home for dinner. Yes, it smells amazing, but it's because the food is made in my kitchen, by me. The only thing that's changed is that I put my sister's name on it and bagged the money. Not even sorry. He's happy, I'm richer, and my sister finds the whole thing amusing. Everyone wins. She even offered me to work for her too, but I feel guilty. Am I the idiot for lying to my husband that my sister is cooking the food he pays $750 a week for when it's me who cooks? You are the idiot yourself. Why would you stay with a man who enjoys hurting you like this? I don't see a win. Your husband is a moron who enjoys hurting you. You seem to have very low self-esteem and no self-respect. Why are you still married to this idiot? She's getting rich. Sis needs to go up on her prices. Groceries are super expensive now, right? LOL. Seriously, $3,000 a month for doing what she was doing anyway? Husband sounds like a moron in addition to everything else. I mean, assuming the husband is doing at least okay in every other department, it's her life to live, man. That's a give and take in every relationship. And something tells me the $3,000 extra spending money per month puts a nice little crescendo on all his attitude. That being said, I'd rather have a partner who respects me more than money, but that's my life to live. OP, the fact that he was so insulting and vile about your food but now loves sister's food means that he was just trying to hurt you, to break you down and make you feel small. His high praise now is supposed to make you jealous of your sister and feel like you aren't good enough to provide for your husband. I say keep taking the money, but make an exit plan now in case he turns his attention to hurting you elsewhere when he realizes his current angle isn't hurting you anymore. My boyfriend Tyler, 27, and I, female 21, met about a year ago and have been dating for about 6 months. For context, we live in South Georgia, where I was born and raised, went to school and now work. My whole family is here and I don't plan on moving. Tyler isn't from Georgia, he's from California. He moved on over here for school and just liked it and stayed. We'd never really talked extensively about his life in California because I'd never been there. Well, last week Tyler asked me if I would like to come along on a trip he's taking back there and told me he would like to meet his family. Of course, I said yes, and I was so flattered and excited. I've only briefly talked to his mom once, but she seemed like a very sweet woman. Well, in the process of packing today, the trip is on Wednesday, Tyler pointed at my boots and asked me if I needed to bring them since they take up a lot of room in the suitcase. I just laughed and said yes. I always wear them, which is true. Everyone in South Georgia who dresses like me wears cowgirl boots and sundresses or jeans. He knows that it's my style. He then proceeded to ask me if I was able to tone down my country accent in front of his family and during the trip. I know I have a southern accent, especially to him, but I was born in Georgia. But it's not like I talk like a hick, and honestly this kind of offended me. Tyler saw this offended me and told me, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be rude, but with the whole blonde hair, boots, southern drawl, I don't want them to think you're dumb or annoying." Like, he genuinely said those words to my face. I asked him why he would ever say that, and he said that when I said a few words to his mom, she laughed at how I talked. I found this so condescending and rude and honestly kind of ugly of her. I told him I would never tone down for his family, him, or anyone else. The kicker is that I'm not even an outgoing person. I'm shy. I don't say much. I wouldn't come on too strong. He was simply saying the way I look and talk is too much. Am I the idiot for saying that to him? My jaw dropped at, "I don't want them to think you're dumb or annoying." Not the idiot, but I'd be rethinking how I felt about a man who'd said that to me. He's so judgmental. What a horrible attitude to have towards people. Perhaps he should be talking to his family. "Mom, can you tone down being an elitist, judgmental witch? Just for a while, you'll make a bad impression." I mean, if he respected his girlfriend and all. Mummy's boy alert. His mother was rude enough to laugh at OP's accent. Instead of standing up for her, the soon-to-be ex-boyfriend asks OP to basically totally change herself completely. "Nope. You're 6 months in, OP, not long at all. Walk away. You deserve better." Do you really want to stay with a 30-year-old man baby who can't even stand up for you to his mommy? The answer is simple, dear. Just don't pack the boots. Don't pack any dresses, shoes, shirts, or underwear. Don't pack anything. All you really need to do is pack all of the little California mama's boy stuff and send it back to California to mommy, alone. Use the time apart to find you a real man who appreciates you for who you are. My 26 female sister, 23, was actively trying for a baby when she didn't have a stable income. Before this, she worked minimum wage in retail but quit to do makeup and be a makeup artist. She does get clients, but it's not stable or enough to support a baby. When she told me she was trying to get pregnant, I advised her against it because she was still young and most importantly, her income wouldn't be able to support a baby. She kind of dismissed me and said her boyfriend has a well-paying job making roughly $50,000 a year and that he would be able to support them. She then got pregnant a few months later and moved in with her boyfriend, who rented an apartment. Last month she visited me and asked for money to buy food and essentials because her boyfriend doesn't have much money left over after he pays the bills and because babies are more expensive than she thought. I gave her $1,000, not a loan because she wouldn't be able to pay it back, and I was okay to lose it, but now she's back and asking for another $1,000. I told her no and that I was okay helping her out last month, but I couldn't anymore because she chose to have a baby she wasn't ready for. She called me a witch, greedy, and a snob for not giving her money. She said now my niece is going to go cold and hungry as they can't afford to buy formula and new baby clothes. She's outgrowing the others. I feel terrible, but I also feel like I should be standing my ground, and I don't think her actions should impact me. I was okay with giving her $1,000 to help her out, But $2,000 is so much money. I also don't want to keep giving her money because when does it end? She's still on maternity leave but wants to go back to makeup when they have enough money to put the child in daycare, but they don't have enough money now. So, am I the idiot? Edit, we live in Sydney. I know the rent for her boyfriend's apartment is $550 a week. Firstly, it's not your responsibility to raise their child. What is the father doing? I mean, why is he not going around borrowing money? Secondly, you already gave her $1,000 without expecting to be paid back. This would just build a bad habit for her eventually. You're not the idiot. OP gave her a gift of $1,000 last month. Her sister is already asking for another handout and is rampaging for not getting it. OP needs to tell her sister that if the child is truly going to go hungry, then she will call Child Protective Services and let them investigate to see if it's possible for the baby to survive in her care. OP should not allow the sister to hold her emotionally hostage over worries of the baby going hungry. Honey, if you help her, do not give her cash. Buy her formula and diapers on Amazon and have it shipped to her. It ensures the baby has necessities and you're not giving her cash to blow. Also, since babies grow out of clothes so fast, there are almost always places to find cheap or even free used baby clothes if her baby really is going to go cold because her clothes don't fit anymore. If your sister was honestly desperate, she'd do that rather than manipulate her family members for new baby clothes. When I saw the edit says Sydney, I did a double take on the boyfriend's good salary. $50,000 is barely above minimum wage these days and is realistically poverty income when you're talking about supporting a family of 3 in Sydney. They're irresponsible and selfish people. They've born a child into a low-income household in a high cost of living area. How are they living stretched so thin? Absolute insanity if you ask me.